Hello, good afternoon, friends and participants. I, Dr. Sunil Saimal, welcome all you in this event. Today, we have the sixth session of this event, and as you know that this event is organized by Tulas Institute and Tech Counselor combinedly, and this event is sponsored by TQ Uttarakhand Technical University. We have several partners in this event like Swachh, Neer, Yuvayana, Boudik Venture, Kaviraj Foundation. All these are startup companies or ventures which which this event these partners are going to support our student uh, in startup at Tulas, um, which I have mentioned earlier also. At Tulas, we have a incubator, technology business incubator, named with Tulas Technology Business Incubator Foundation. This incubator is supported by Uttarakhand government and MSME government of India. In this incubator, we are supporting students for a startup, and we are nurturing their ideas so that they can be become a good startup or a company. Now I am handovering mic to Mukesh. Hello, Mukesh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Samuel. It's indeed great pleasure to again be on the session, and I welcome to all the audience as well as to all my participants for this wonderful international training and internship program on opportunities for R&D ecosystem and tech-driven startups. The program we started on 20th of June and will be going live till 15th of July. A 1 month extensive research program focused on R&D and tech-driven startup. I thanks to Tulas as well as to my whole team Tech Counselor for organizing this session, as well as to my co-organizer Krishna Institute of Medical Science deemed to be University from Maharashtra, and as well as to the sponsor which include Uttarakhand Technical University, and to my technical and knowledge partners Yuvayana Tech and Craft, Ramanujan Academy of Science and Technology, Swachh, Boudik Ventures, and Kaviraj Foundation. I again will say to my all audience, if you guys need to have any kind of mentorship support, you can always communicate with us, and you can always take the help from all these technical partners. Like for example, for IP and all, you can always communicate with Boudik Ventures, and five of the startups will be provided with the zero professional fees kind of thing. They will be sponsoring your registration fees and all. And we will be having almost 15 plus experts for the whole modules. The sessions will be going for 40 plus hours. On the very first day, we had Mr. Vinay Chaudhary with us. He's the assistant professor at UPS Dehradun. On second day, we had with us Mr. Madan Kanala, founder and CEO for SNOM at Ottawa, Canada. On third day, we had Dr. Rajkumar Heldar, CEO, founder at Juvenile Biomedical OPC Private Limited. As well as we had very senior professor, Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Panda. He is the professor at Govind Ballappa Institute of Engineering and Technology, and also the had the state project administrator for state project implementation unit at Uttarakhand. Yesterday we had Saurav Trivedi, who is the founder and director for Boudik Ventures Private Limited India, and we'll be having very senior and prominent speaker like Dr. Fabio Massi, the technical director for and R&D manager at IRI DRA at Italy. Then we will also have Dr. Amit Kumar Mandal from Dubai. We will have Naveen Kumar, Abhishek Gupta from Hungary and from France. Sri Prasad will again join us from Hyderabad in the coming days. To the academicians, we'll have Dr. Sunil Semwal, who is the HOD and professor at Electrical Engineering Department at Tulas Institute, Dehradun. And then we will have Ajit Kumar Yadav, who is the researcher at NASA ISRO SAR NISAR project and also the founder for Ramanujan Academy of Science and Technology. Mr. Uday from Tech Counselor team will also be taking this test on embedded and its implementation for the tech projects. Ms. Sakshi Gupta from Graphigera University will be taking one session on water and on rainwater harvesting projects. Dr. Jayant Pamar from Krishna Institute of Medical Science deemed to be university, as well as Mr. Yasodhan will also be joining us in the coming days for the session. The concluding remark will be given by Ms. Reni Thaplial, the co-founder and director for the Tech Counselor Camp Group. So these all experts will be taking one-to-one interactive session, as well as will be focusing on for the challenges as well as on the opportunities for R&D ecosystem and tech-driven startups. And we hope that this all will be helping all the audience. So these were like among our experts, Vinay Chaudhary sir, and then sir, please can you put next slide? Rajkumar Haldar, he took briefly session on R&D and R&I for defense and on biomedical. Madan Kanala also took lecture on IoT. Next, sir. Then yesterday we had Mr. Saurav Trivedi with us. He took the session on IPR assets for the startup and relevance on IPR in a startup ecosystem. Next, sir. We also had Professor Manoj Kumar Panda, very senior professor at Govind Ballabh Pant Institute of Engineering and Technology. Next, sir. So today we have Dr. Raman Sharma, sir. Welcome, sir, and he'll be taking lecture on opportunities for sustainable green tech startup. Dr. Raman Sharma is senior scientist at CSIR NEERI, sir. I welcome you on behalf of my whole team from the Tech Counselor as well as from Tulas team, as well as from my all co-organizers and organizers for taking your busy schedule and for taking the time for our audience. So I'll just hand over session to you, sir. Once again, welcome and thank you for accepting our request to address the audience, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mukesh. It is indeed a pleasure for me to be part of this program. First of all, my best wishes to the Tula Institute that they are taking up this opportunity. I would say it's not a pandemic, it's not a problem. I would say it's an opportunity for all mankind to explore the possibilities by which we can beat this pandemic thing. And in this line, and today I am here to talk to you. And you can see this first slide. I hope you can see my first slide, which is about the session. And I shall be you from 1 p.m. to approximately 2:30 p.m. And in between, if you have some questions, you can interrupt me in between, or you wish to take up questions at the end, it's up to you. I would be very, very happy if you want to interrupt me in the lecture itself. So coming to the first slide, and I shall be speaking to you about green technologies for grey water treatment. This is something which I believe is very, very important and relevant nowadays. And when we talk about this management of green technologies, India is not faring very well amongst these technologies. And we here and now, after interval of certain time period, we always hear that we have this much percentage of untreated wastewater flowing into the nearby water bodies. When I say water bodies, I say that it could be a pond, it could be a lake, or it could be a stormwater drain. And flowing through the stormwater drain, the untreated water is ultimately reaching onto the, I would say, the main rivers. And so this is something which I am going to talk to you today about. And on the first slide, you can see that my name is written. I am working as a senior scientist at CSIR, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute. CSIR is a parent body, and there are 38 laboratories, and the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, or in short form, we call it NEERI, is one of the constituent laboratory of CSIR. The mandate of CSIR NEERI is associated with pollution and its management. We are always up in association with all the government bodies, be it Supreme Court of India, National Green Tribunal, state governments, or whenever some kind of request we receive from the private agency also. So we do all these different kind of activities associated with environment and mitigation of pollution. So as I said that I shall be primarily speaking to you about grey water management, and CSIR NEERI has developed a few technologies, and I shall be talking to you about those technologies today. So please have a look at the scheme of my lecture. First of all, I shall be talking to you about what actually is the problem, and what is the problem when we say that the green technologies that we are going to use for the management of this grey water. And then I shall be talking to you about the options. The first option which I shall be speaking to you is the XC2 option. In the XC2 option, I shall be talking to you about the phytorid technology-based decentralized sewage treatment plant. And the next technological option that I shall be speaking to you is going to be in situ option. In the in situ option, I shall be talking to you about in situ drain treatment, to which we call as RENEU, R-E-N-E-U. And also I shall be talking to you about the floating rafter. First of all, you need to understand that when I say ex-situ and in situ, what does actually mean? Ex-situ means that we are taking the wastewater away from the situation in which it is. And then we will be providing some kind of technological options to the wastewater, the grey water, I would rather say. So in the in situ option, the wastewater, the grey water, it is flowing in, let's say, in the storm water drain on the normal drain, and we shall be treating this grey water in that situation itself. So that is the way I am going to classify the technologies over here, the ex situ option and the in situ option. Then I shall be talking to you about case studies of the projects in which CSIR NEERI is aggressively associated in the National Capital Region. The first project, which is very, very prestigious, is the Shahadra Jheel Rejuvenation Project. I shall be showing you about that how CSIR NEERI is rejuvenating a particular dead lake in the East Delhi Municipal Corporation. And we are associated with East Delhi Municipal Corporation, and we are proposing them various mitigation strategies by which we can rejuvenate a almost dead lake in the Yuvayana floodplain. Then I shall be talking to you about the rejuvenation of 29 water bodies, and this project is with the irrigation and flood control of Delhi. And in this, we are proposing different methods, different ways by which we can rejuvenate the water bodies in the Delhi region. And then after discussion about these case studies, I shall be concluding my presentation. So in the next slide, you can see that what are the problems when I say that the poor management of grey water, which is happening in and around Delhi, not only in and around Delhi, I would say all over India, not only all over India, all over the world, especially in the developing world. So in this, you can see a few of the pictures. The first picture is of the Ibrahimpur water body. And by the way, just I tell you a brief introduction. CSIR NEERI is currently associated with the rejuvenation of close to 130 water bodies in the National Capital Region. When you access the government records in the National Capital Region, you come to know that there are close to 1,000 water bodies in NCR region. And with the proactiveness of Delhi government, the government has identified the location of those water bodies, and they have marked and put some geotagging to that water body in the effort to just control the encroachment of those particular water bodies. Because water body do have a very important role to play in the urban heat island management. They just become a small heat sinks in this urbanized urban landscape, I would say. So when we did the survey with the intention of rejuvenating this particular water body, we found the picture something like, you can see the first picture. It is Ibrahimpur. The name of the water body is after the name of the village in which this water body is located. You can see that this water body is not a water body, it's just kind of a small patch of land where some small quantity of water is being collected, and along with the water, you can see incessant amount of wastewater that has been dumped. You can see air cooler, plastic bags, all kind of household waste that is being generated has been dumped, which is very, very disturbing to see. If this is the situation of water body in the capital region of India, we can very well imagine what could be the situation of water bodies in other parts of India. Not only a small lake and pond, when we were doing survey of small drains in the Haryana region at the request of National Green Tribunal, when we were investigating this, we found a second picture, which is a Panipat dye drain, which is ultimately leading to Yamuna. You can see the colored water from a hosiery is being discharged into this drain, which is a stormwater drain. Untreated wastewater or industrial water should not be put into this stormwater drain that was happening over there. The third picture is of drain number 2, and which is ultimately leading to River Yamuna. The condition of this drain was also very, very bad. I can add over here that these drains have been proposed to augment the flow of River Yamuna. But in place of a drain water going into this River Yamuna, untreated industrial wastewater is ultimately flowing in these drains and ultimately reaching to the River Yamuna. The fourth picture you can see is of Hiranki water body. Contrary to the first picture of Ibrahimpur water body, there is no water in this particular water body. You can see this water body has been developed very, very nicely. Proper boundary wall has been constructed, but there is no source of water. So I would rather say that the source of water is the rain. So whenever rainfall happens, depending upon quantity of rainfall happening in that particular area, the water will stay inside that lake. And after that, with the evaporation, percolation, or due to various other climatic region, water will disappear. And for a large number of time period, this water body is going to be dry. The fifth picture you can see over here is of that of the Hamidpur water body. You can see this water body is almost filled with water, but to recharge this particular water body, the grey water from the nearby locality is being discharged. That's the reason this particular water body is wet. The sixth picture you can see, when we went to do the survey of this Bakhtawar water body, we found that the water body has been encroached. We don't know who has encroached this particular water body, and some construction activity were going on at the site. Moving on to the next slide. The seventh picture is of Sanjay Community Hall, which is there in the Bareilly. So this particular pond is also, we are in talk with the Bareilly Smart City for the rejuvenation of this purpose, You can see the buffaloes are taking bath. So I would not criticize that why buffaloes are taking bath into this, but ultimately when buffalo will go inside this, that's the public which are using this place, along with the buffalo, some another cow dung, etc., buffalo dung will be discharged into the water body, and the BOD of that particular water body would increase, but ultimately put a load onto the sustainability of this particular water body. Eighth picture is of River Yamuna. This is immediately after the Wazirabad barrage, and you can see the foaming phenomena happening inside this particular River Yamuna, which is not a good sight for us to see. Ninth picture is of the NEERI pond of Ghaziabad. You can see incessant growth of weeds inside this particular water body because of discharge of untreated grey water inside this particular water body. Picture 10 and picture 11, both are from the same village. The name of the village is Ladpur village. You can see the picture 10, villagers are dumping cow dung and the municipal solid waste from their houses in the vicinity of the water body. On the other hand, same village, same villagers are maintaining a particular water body very, very nicely inside the village. So why I am showing the two pictures of a same village, I would like to make a point that if the will of the people is there, they can very, very nicely maintain the resources, the water body of that particular region. So we need to sensitize people. We need to give them viable, sustainable solutions by which they can maintain the water body and the ecology of that particular water body. And the last picture of this slide is picture number 12 is the Shahadra Jheel. So you can see in the name of the Shahadra Jheel, there is only a small patch of land where water has been collected over there. And because of the encroachment of the surrounding area, the catchment area of the lake, the water is nowadays not being discharged into this lake. And whatever water is coming from the rainfall, only that water is going to be retained inside the this dry lake, and that will also ultimately depend upon the base of the lake, how porous it is. If the base of the lake is very, very porous, the rainwater will percolate down very, very quickly inside this particular lake. So with these two slides, with just 12 pictures, so I would like to make a point over here is that, and because of the non-efficient collection system of grey water in the capital region or in the urban areas or in the village areas, what is happening that the grey water from the residential area is finding its way in the form of the stormwater drains to the nearby water body. When I say water body, that water body could be a small pond, could be a little bigger lake, or it could be a stormwater drain. When I call stormwater drain is only for the rainwater. It's not for the untreated grey water from the household, from the nearby vicinity. So that particular untreated grey water is finding its place into the nearby water bodies over here, be it big drains, be it the small water body, lake, pond, and ultimately that rain is taking that untreated water to a nearby river. In this particular area, in the National Capital Region, that particular river is the Yamuna River. You might have heard also that up till the entry, when the Yamuna River entered the river Delhi region, it's very, very clean. But immediately after the Wazirabad barrage from where there is one water treatment plant of Delhi Jal Board, they lift close to 80% water from that river Yamuna and then treat that water and supply for the drinking purpose in the National Capital Region. And after that Wazirabad barrage, a very, very famous Najafgarh drain enters inside this river Yamuna and deteriorate the quality of the water of river Yamuna. And very recently, at the directions of Honorable National Green Tribunal, we did the survey of this effect of lockdown onto the water quality of river Yamuna. And I would like to share with you that particular thing. I have prepared a picture of that particular Najafgarh drain just before it mixes with that of river Yamuna. And in this, you can see that this is something like 3rd of May. And when the lockdown was about to end, and you can see that still in this particular Najafgarh drain, the untreated grey water, untreated industrial water is ultimately being flowed over there. And even if we try to assume that it's not industrial water, I would say that still some sort of grey water coming from the Delhi region is being flowing inside this particular Najafgarh drain. You people might have heard also this Najafgarh drain is not actually a Najafgarh drain. This is actually a Sahibi river. Historically, this was with the name of Sahibi river, but with the passage of time, and this particular Najafgarh, this Sahibi river has been renamed as a Najafgarh drain, which is not a good thing for the mankind. That in the name of development, we are polluting our water bodies by discharging untreated grey water, black water, or untreated industrial water into these water bodies. So you can see the untreated water flowing in the side this Najafgarh drain. And my sampling team also, you can see over there, they are collecting the water sample from this Najafgarh drain. This is very, very $1 million picture, I would say. This is a very famous signature bridge you can see over there. And you can see the two colors. The lighter color is of that of river Yamuna. And this black color is the color of the Najafgarh drain. You can see the influence of Najafgarh drain, which is happening onto the water quality of river Yamuna. Many a time it is been accused that after crossing Delhi, after crossing National Capital Region, the Yamuna has just become a drain. It's not been called a river. You can literally see this particular picture that what is happening with the quality of river Yamuna. On the top side, you see the clear water of river Yamuna, and the bottom, you see the untreated rainwater being discharged into this river Yamuna. So now, when I say that, okay, there is a problem of grey water mismanagement, grey water is not being discharged properly. So now let us talk about the two options, the in situ option and the ex situ option, by which we can do the treatment of grey water, which is ultimately flowing into the nearby water body. So let's talk about the in situ option. The first technological option, the green technology. When I say green technology, I would like to emphasize over here is that we are advocating the treatment of grey water using we say phytoremediation with the help of the plants, and I will show you what different kind of technological interventions we are providing. The first technology that I am going to speak today is the in situ drain treatment, or we call it restoration of nala with the ecological unit, or in the short form, we call it RENEU, R-E-N-E-U. CSIR NEERI has designed, developed, and demonstrated in situ nala treatment technology. And RENEU refers to the treatment of sewage in the running flow without displacing, disturbing the shape, structure of the nala, and by employing physical and biological operations in the aerobic and facultative environment to degrade the sewage. So all of you need to understand, whenever a nala is flowing, if you stop the flow of that particular nala or obstruct the flow of that particular nala, it will become very, very difficult for us. Because, for example, if people have their grey water discharge points inside that particular nala, if you construct artificial bund inside that artificial wall, that particular grey water will rise into their localities. So we need to have a kind of a technology which does not cause any disharmony among to the nearby citizens who are living in the vicinity of that. So the beauty of this RENEU system is that it does not stop the flow of that particular nala, but just a little bit modify the flow to cater to the needs of grey water treatment inside that particular nala. We put some kind of physical operations, which includes silt trap, screening, sedimentation, and biological operations, including aeration, microbial, and phytoremediation. So all these different kind of operations we shall be putting inside the flowing nala with the purpose of treating the grey water flowing inside that particular nala. And I would like to emphasize over here is that when we talk about treating grey water, even in a sewage treatment plant, STP, you tend to remove the silt before going inside that sewage treatment plant, because silt does not have any nutritive value. It's just a kind of an inert material that should be removed at the first instance, so that it should not put a burden onto the next operational units that are being advocated at an STP or even in the RENEU system. So CSIR NEERI demonstrated this particular RENEU technology in its premises at Nagpur. CSIR NEERI has its head office at Nagpur, and there is one nala which is flowing inside the premises of CSIR NEERI, and we demonstrated this particular technology, this RENEU technology, inside this our premises itself. So this is the beginning of that particular nala before it enters inside our office building over there, so that you can see that all different kind of solid waste is being flown into this nalas, which ultimately choke it, which is not a good behavior that is expected from the citizen of our country. So let us talk about that, what we are proposing for an RENEU system in a demonstrative unit which is there in our campus at Nagpur. So this is the first thing, first physical operation. We are having a screen cum grid trap. You can see our inclined screen has been put into the flow of flowing water. So this screen and grid trap is the first unit, I would say, for the RENEU. Screen is going to remove objects such like rags, paper, plastic, metals, and various floating matter to prevent clogging at downstream of the treatment. I before also reiterated that these kind of things does not have a nutritive value, just like plastic or rags or other kind of gutka packets. We need to remove them before entering inside our treatment system. Coarse as well as fine screens are provided before the grid trap. And this grid trap is combined with the screen operation, which remove grit from the flowing sewage and allow it to settle down. Grit includes silt, sand, cinder, or other heavy solid material that are heavier than the water, and they just settle it down and we just remove them at the first instance. So you can see the operation, the efficient operation of the screen, floating matter onto the left, and water sends the floating material is being seen at the affluent upstream, or I would say the downstream of this screen. And after that, we have our sedimentation zone and the suspended solid present in the sewage wastewater having specific gravity greater than that of water tend to settle down by gravity as soon as the turbulence is retarded by offering storage. So in this sedimentation unit, the flow is retarded to allow settling of maximum amount of suspended solids present in sewage wastewater. Solid liquid separation process in which suspension is separated into two phases. The clear supernatant leaving the top of the sedimentation pool and suspended solid settling at the bottom of the sediment pool. So this is something which you need to maintain very, very efficiently. The municipalities or the urban local body which is going to have this kind of renew system, they need to appoint the staff at this particular sedimentation zone to remove the silt. Otherwise, the space which is meant for the water is going to be encroached by that of the silt, the inert thing which is not going to decompose by any means. So that is something you need to do this. But this is applicable to sewage treatment plant also. When you have a large amount of grit coming over there, you need to remove that. In the same fashion, you need to remove the grit from the renew systems. Then we have a solar diffused aeration system. To improve the dissolved oxygen of this grey water, we are putting a diffused aeration system in this. So without the presence of sufficient oxygen, bacteria are not able to biodegrade the incoming organic matter, I would say, in a reasonable time in the drain. So this diffused aeration generated by solar energy provides oxygen to bacteria for treating and stabilizing the sewage. The supplied oxygen is utilized by bacteria in the wastewater to break down the organic matter containing carbon to form carbon dioxide and water. You might have heard that because of the anaerobic conditions, large amount of H2S or methane is being generated. But when we put oxygen into this flowing water, you need to giving oxygen to bacteria, and they would be converting that into the carbon dioxide. So in the absence of dissolved oxygen, degradation must occur under septic condition. This is what I was saying, and which are slow, odorous, and yield incomplete conversion of the pollutant. So under this septic condition, some of the biological processes convert hydrogen and sulfur to the hydrogen sulfide and transform carbon into the methane, which becomes very, very difficult for the nearby citizens to manage the odor. So now next is something, the phytoremediation, which I was talking to you just before. And you can see that we have named this particular thing as the phytotraps. So in this, you can see that we are putting some kind, we are anchoring, I would say, that some kind of metal parts. And in those metal parts, you can see that some sort of plants are being grown over there. So let's see that what these phytotraps are. The phytotrap is an eco-technological horizontal biofiltration unit. It's having physical and biological filter working in combination to remove suspended and dissolved impurities of water. As the name suggests, phytotrap, phyto stands for phytoremediation, which is employed by the special species of wetland plants, and all the suspended solids are trapped in phytotraps, and the turbidity of the flowing water is reduced. That's a function of these phytotraps. And green plants on the top help in nutrient removal. It also increases the DO because the plants of these, the roots of these plants are in the water. When plants do photosynthesis, they remove certain portion of that oxygen in the water also. In my previous slide, I showed you that we are also doing some sort of aeration of the water, and along with that, we're also putting aeration or oxygen inside water with the help of the roots of these plants. Okay, so these green plants on the top help in nutrient removal, increase the dissolved oxygen level in water, which in turn facilitate the growth of aerobic organisms, which degrade the organic pollutant. That is something these phytotraps are doing. And this is the picture of when we were putting up all this phytotrap system inside our drains. You can see the labor, the kind of module, the kind of stones thing which we are putting inside these phytotraps. And some more pictures of these phytotraps, how we have put it inside, how we have anchored these units with the wall of this drain. And now you can see the growth of these Canna indica plants, the wetland species plants, and which is getting accustomed to this grey water. And you can see the nice growth of these plants happening. More is the growth, more is the nutrients uptake by the roots of these plants. And after some time, you would see the blossom also, which is very, very good thing to us. You can see some of the pictures where these Canna indica plants are getting a blossom also. So see a very nice growth of wetland species plants inside the flowing water. Very, very good thing to see. And all the nutrients are going to be removed using this, the roots of these plants. Some more pictures. So next unit is a biomat. What is a biomat? Biomat is designed with the aim of treating the nala or sewage wastewater based on the principle of microbial bioremediation. A typical biomat consists of a rust-free PVC-coated metal frame, let's say a mat, which contains coconut coir and banana leaves. And initially, bacteria immobilization was performed on a natural surface, such as banana leaves and coconut coir. The potential microbes used in the consortia are selected based on the molecular and the microbiological tests. The bioremediation efficiency of each of the microbes used in the consortia is confirmed a prior. These microbes have been immobilized on selected surfaces within a period of 7 to 8 days. Further, the immobilized material have been tightly packed into the mat. The designed biomat finds application in situ nala wastewater treatment, wherein the microbes will use the organic matter of sewage as nutrients and thus treat the wastewater. I would like to emphasize over here is that this biomat thing is optional, but when we found that the BOD of that particular system is very high, we advocate the use of this biomat system to further improve the microbial population inside the sewage water, the grey water flowing inside this. After this, the next unit that we advocate is a flow rafter, or I would say floating rafter, the same thing which denote. So you can see that we have used some kind of this floating material, plastic material. Onto that we have punctured, made of blocks. And in those blocks, we have put the same wetland species plants, the Canna indica. And these units are generally anchored. You can see we have put some kind of a stone and have tied it with this floating object. And after some time, we anchored it with some kind of a metal chain so that when a large flow is being achieved during the rainy season, they does not flow along with that of the flowing water. Or many times when there is a huge storm water flow or the rainfall is happening, we just tend to remove this floating object out of this flowing stream of the nala. Because ultimately when rainwater is coming, it's almost very much diluted. You need not to treat the rainwater because it's coming from nature. It's one of the purest form of water which is coming over there. So you can remove this floating object during the rainy season. So you can see this floating rafter. And I would say that this phytoflow raft is a modification of phytorite bed. I will be talking to you about the phytorite bed in the next section of this lecture. And these are applied onto the surface of the water. They just keep flowing. So you just see that when the level of the water will increase, they will just float up. So you need to give a cushion, a certain length of the anchoring chain, so that if water level increases, they just float up. When the water level decreases, they will come down onto the, they will just float onto the surface of this flowing water inside that particular drain. The plant beds are constructed on material which can float onto the water and then anchored in the Nala drain channel. The wastewater treatment mechanism of floating rafter are a synergistic effect of physical, chemical, and the biological process. It is generally acknowledged that using phytoflow raft to treat polluted water is to utilize aquatic plants, developed roots to contact water, forming a concentrated natural filtering layer, as well as absorption, transformation, and degradation of the water polluted. So it's a three-pronged action. Detritus-feeding organism consume the pollutant because it's a nutrients for them. Secondly, the waste generated from this process are useful for green plants. And thirdly, the green plants absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, leading to carbon sequestration also. It's a kind of a closed loop system over there that after the degradation, whatever carbon dioxide gas is being generated, these are taking that carbon dioxide gas as a food. And in return to that, they are putting oxygen in the flowing water with the roots which are submerged inside this particular thing. So that is something, that's why I have named this particular lecture as the green technologies for this gray water flowing in these channels. Okay. So you can see some more pictures of this phytoflow raft, and you can see that plants are getting accustomed to the dirty water and flourishing very, very nicely in this flowing system. And you can see how healthy the plants are, and they have uptaken the nutrients from the flowing water. And you can see the blossom onto the surface onto these plants over here. So good to see that with the simple plants, you can actually treat or convert a dirty, stinky Nala into something like a botanical garden. So this is a very, very good picture, at least for me, to see that after treatment, this is the aesthetically, you can see that how clean this particular water has become. And that shows that with the proper operating this radio technology, you can achieve a certain treatment of this gray water flowing inside these drains. So now let us talk that after this demonstration in the where else we have this particular radio system. And in this slide, you can see that there is a list of 7 places where the radio system has been put. First, definitely, is at our Nagpur campus. And the second to the 7th place, you can see, they are the Kriya Yoga Ashram at Chusi, Prayagraj, Old GT Road, which is again at Chusi, it's another Nala, Savitri Nagar Bazaar, and Ulta Kila Drain, and Lakadia Drain. And I would like to put it into your very kind information over here is that CSIR NEERI demonstrated this particular technology during the Kumbh. So that particular Kumbh, and when people are going to take holy dip inside the holy river Ganga, so we need to put a kind of a notice over there that this particular water is not a water that you can do achaman or you can use for your normal purpose. It's a treated water from the drain. So people become very, very surprised at how come a drain water can be treated very, very efficiently with this kind of green technology. And you can see a picture also, and left side picture is of a dirty untreated rainwater, and right side picture is of that of the clean water. So over here you can see also that this particular technology is how efficient it is in removing different pollutants of this particular water. The TSS removal efficiency is something like 80% and more. BOD removal is 70% and more. Chemical oxygen demands is 65% and more. Total nitrogen removal is 60% and more. And phosphate removal is also close to 60% and more. So some of the ongoing projects which are there, the first one is at the NIT Garden, Savarkar Nagar, it's in Nagpur itself. Second project which is underway, it's in Ulhas Nagar Drain in the Mumbai, Maharashtra region. And the flow of Nala at Ulhas Nagar is 10 million liter per day. So that is something we have demonstrated this particular technology And of course, with the passage of time, we are improving this treatment thing of this particular treatment RENU technology. So the untreated and the treated water. So these are sets of pictures of those drains, and you can see these things and the different phyto traps, solar diffused aeration system, all that kind of pictures for the kind information of the audiences who are listening to this lecture. So we demonstrated this technology during the Kumbh 2019. So now let us talk about the advantages of this RENU technology. So I am making it very, very clear. I do not want to advocate that this RENU technology is capable of doing everything. Just like any other technology, there are some plus and negative points associated with this particular RENU technology. So I shall be talking to you the positivity, the advantages of this particular technology. So the first thing, you can note it down, that the system can achieve Nala wastewater treatment without the use of conventional STPs. I would say that I don't want to advocate that this particular thing is an alternative to the STP. I would say that all the untreated grey water, black water should go to the sewage treatment plant for the purpose of proper treatment. And after treatment, only the water needs to be discharged into a stormwater drain into a river. But if due to any reason you don't have a dedicated sewage treatment plant in a particular area, in the rural area and the urban area, you can use this particular technology for the treatment of water flowing, grey water flowing inside this particular drain. So in this particular thing, no extra civil construction may be required, as the technology employs natural systems and relies onto the flowing water channel. If our Nala is almost pakka in the nature, it has been properly constructed, you need to put some sort of blocks for the purpose of this phyto traps that I was showing to you. But if the system, the Nala is totally kacha, at the place where you're going to put this kind of technological intervention, only a very small amount of construction you need to do. So you need not to invest a large amount of money for doing some sort of civil construction for putting this RENU technology. The second advantage of this RENU system is the toxicity reduction. So when I say toxicity reduction, this Nala generally exists as an anaerobic zone. You could agree with me that whenever you pass close to a Nala, you would see a large amount of smell coming, the H2S, the methane getting generated because of anaerobic conditions inside this Nala. So when due to these anaerobic conditions, these gases just make life miserable for the citizen living in the close proximity of the Nalas. So with that Nala cleanup, these anaerobic zone will disappear, and thereby leading to no more production of these toxic gases. So that is also one of the positive things associated with this RENU thing. Third one is there is no electricity, and just water is flowing. With the help of technological intervention, you can clean up the water. Even if, when I say that you have a solar diffuse system, and in place of a grid connected thing, you just put some photovoltaics, attach them to this aeration system, and this technology become totally non-grid connected treatment system. So in the rural area, not only in the rural area, but in the urban area also, in some patches of India, the power shortage is there. So you need not to worry about the availability of the power. Just with the help of the photovoltaics, you can put up the aeration of this particular drain system. So fourth, I would say the biggest advantage associated with this RENU system is the very minimal operation and maintenance cost. You might have heard, you might have read in the newspaper, in the print media, or in some other places, you come to know that the sewage treatment plants are not working. The operation and maintenance for the municipal corporation or the urban local bodies, the operation and maintenance become very, very difficult. That is something you need to put a lots of money into them in the form of a large electricity bill, in the form of chemical dosing, depending upon the kind of treatment regime going on there at STP or at the common effluent treatment plant. In this system, you need not to put some kind of chemicals, just with the help of the plants and the aeration. So I would say a very minimum operation and maintenance for the RENU system is there. Fifth, definitely odor control. When you control the gases, the odor problem is going to be get minimized. The sixth and a very important advantage is that the treatment is happening inside the running water. You're not taking water somewhere, you're not obstructing, you're not constructing some artificial dam or something like that. Just naturally when water is flowing, and that is something which is being flowing and getting treated. Seventh important point is reduction in the mosquito propagation. Eighth is the social invocation of the masses to support the Nala cleanup program. When you engage public into this system, they would be very, very sensitized to see that they should not throw plastic waste inside the stormwater drains, because when they will put the plastic waste inside these drains, they're ultimately going to choke the treatment system which is being proposed. And the treatment system over here is some sort of plants which are going to make that particular Nala to look as a kind of a botanical garden system. So when people become very, very sensitized, they themselves will put that this particular technology is going to improve the aesthetics of the nearby areas. So that is very, very good thing when people become sensitized and they just involve into this kind of activities. Okay, so these are some of the positive changes which are associated with this revenue system. So now let's talk about the operation and maintenance, and where you need to put your efforts for proper operation and maintenance of this revenue system. So as I said before also, the removal of debris and screening from screens and grid traps, and desilting of grid traps, removal of scum, and periodic cleaning of phyto traps, and maintaining uniform flow across the treatment system, and repair of physical damage to the floating rafter, you need to repair them. And operational aspects include harvesting of fruits once 6 months. I showed you some of the pictures where you see that Canna indica, the wetland species plants, they have flourished very, very nicely. So these all kind of activities, you don't need to have a kind of a skill to do that. So some unskilled labor, and they can be appointed for maintenance of these kind of activity, or I would rather say some sort of a gardener can do all these kind of periodic removal of things. So no doubt this particular thing, the revenue system is going to treat the water, but when the urban local body or the municipal corporation would appoint some sort of labor to this, they would also find employment. And so we also see this thing as a kind of employment generation also. The unskilled labor can also find involved into this particular kind of a thing. Okay, so these are some of the operation and maintenance thing that you need to maintain in this revenue system. So now let us talk about the XC2 option. The XC2 option is the phytorate technology. In my previous section, when I was talking to you about the revenue also, over there I used the name this phytorate technology. So let me give you a very, very brief introduction. So you saw those plants have been planted in the revenue system in the flowing water with the help of phyto trap or with the help of the floating rafter. In this particular phytorate technology, we are going to construct a phytorate technology based sewage treatment plant. So the grey water which was flowing in the Nala over there, in this system, you can see that I am saying this is a XC2 option. So what in this XC2 option you need to do? You need to lift the grey water flowing inside particular Nala. You have to lift, take out that water away from the situation. That's why I'm saying that this is an XC2 option of this grey water treatment. You will lift the grey water from a water body, from a lake, from a pond, from a drain, and then you will put that grey water, untreated grey water, into this phytorate technology-based sewage treatment plant. This sewage treatment plant will treat the grey water using the roots of the plants, and then treated water can, after treatment, be released into a drain. It can also be discharged into a stormwater drain, can be discharged into a water body, a lake, or a pond. So that is something I am going to talk to you about this phytorate technology-based system. So in this slide, you can see that a block diagram of this phytorate technology-based sewage treatment system. You can see on the left, there is a drain flowing, the black colored water you can see over here. So from here, with the help of a sewage sump, you are going to lift the grey water, untreated grey water, into this sedimentation tank. In the sedimentation tank, the purpose is to remove all the grit particles, etc., and from this system, because it does not have, I once again say, it does not have a nutritive value. It should not go inside the treatment system, because ultimately the space which is meant for the water, the space which is meant for the nutrients would be taken up by the grit, which does not have any nutritive value, and you need to put a label, you need to stop your treatment system for the treatment of grey water. So after sedimentation, the water will flow into this filtrate bed. You can again see that there are some kind of baffles inside this particular filtrate bed also. And you can see the stones have been filled inside these beds. And onto the surface of these stones, the plants, again, these plants are the wetland species plants that have been grown over there. The water, once discharged into this filtrate bed in the form of crisscross manner, will flow inside this particular filtrate bed. Why these baffles have been put? Because you might have heard that channeling is a kind of a problem. When you discharge a water inside a chamber, if by chance some debris, some organic matter or inert matter are going to be there, they will just make a kind of a pile, and water will just start to channelize here, there inside this particular system, will not use the whole space provided for the treatment purpose. So you need to have a sedimentation thing. After sedimentation, you need to have a baffled filtrate bed, so that whole complete space is being filled with water, and then water flows to the next chamber, to the next chamber. And when water flows through these baffles, it just rises up, it touches to the roots of the plants. And once the roots start to get nutrients, roots start to propagate down inside that particular filtrate bed. And when roots will take the nutrients, they will convert the organic matter into carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide gas will be released. That carbon dioxide gas will be taken by plants during the photosynthesis. After photosynthesis, plants will release the oxygen in the roots of the plants. And you can see that in the topmost region, where the root zone is there, the oxygen is going to be liberated by the roots. And at the base of this particular filtrate bed, anaerobic conditions are going to be there. So anaerobes would be very, very active at the base of this particular unit. And so you can see that aerobic as well as anaerobic system, both are going to, microbes are going to be active of this particular thing. Somebody has asked a question. I think Manasvi Singh is asking, what should be the minimum stretch of Nala for the deployment of renew units? Very good question, Manasvi. I would say that this question can be answered once you have the water quality. I would say that from 200 meter, we can also stretch this particular thing to 500, 600. We just need to see the BOD of that particular Nala stretch. More is the BOD, more is the stretch that you need to employ for the treatment purpose. For the kind information of all the audiences, we can have a one module, or we can have a number of modules at a particular span of a particular Nala. So there is no hard and fast rule we can say that you need to have something like that. So, but minimum, I would say that 200 meter, 300 meters, something like that, you need to have that. I hope I have answered your question, Manasvi. So there is no hard and fast rule. If the water is more contaminated, you tend to have a more longer stretch for the purpose of that particular unit. Okay? Not only one module, you can have a multiple modules into this. So when I say that you need to have a multiple modules, the cost of investment from the urban local bodies is also going to increase. So whenever we propose such kind of thing, we just optimize this this stretch. So that is something, the way we go for this particular renew system. Another question that has been asked, like rainwater harvesting, can grey water recycling be made compulsory in larger apartments and industrial establishment? Scope of it in the individual home? I think Mr. Mohanji has asked this question. I think it's a very kind of a good thing, like rainwater. But as a technical person, I would say that when we say that grey water after treatment, you have to reuse it. And there is no surety when you need to have a kind of a strong quality check. No doubt, the urban local body or wherever the municipal corporation, they're going to put it up. And there are some good examples also where people are reusing it. And if government makes it, the first thing the government needs to make it sure the treatment system, be it a filtrate system, be it a renew system, or be it another conventional wastewater treatment system, the quality of the water should be according to the discharge standard. Once that has been achieved, then you can use that particular water, at least for the horticulture purpose. And for the kind information of Mohanji, I would like to mention over here is that in the Delhi has a very, very enthusiastic, the same kind of a plan is there. Honorable NGT is discouraging the use of groundwater in the parks of Delhi. They are requesting that the parks or the urban local bodies or the resident welfare associations, they should put these kind of filtrate technology-based small systems inside their parks. Take up the grey water, treat that particular water in the filtrate bed, and use that particular thing for the horticulture purpose. So that is something which is happening at least in the national capital region, that you should use your grey water. Because water is everywhere. You see that the agency responsible for collecting this grey water, finding it very difficult. From here and there, you see news that they are just overflowing. So once you start to take up that particular grey water, treat that and use for the green covers, etc., you will be doing a very great service to the nature by not extracting the clean fresh water from the ground itself. So that is something, Mohanji, I would like to add into this thing. So there is a kind of a requirement that we should use our grey water for this. I hope I have answered this particular question. So next question is from Narendra Singh Ji. He's asking that, is there any kind of government financial help to carry out research on sustainable and green method and technology? To be very honestly, Narendra Ji, I am not sure about any such kind of request, but as a kind of a researcher, I can put it up that if you put up some kind of an idea, you can definitely approach to GST or the Jal Shakti Ministry. I heard that a couple of time ago, they invited some of the startups over there. And to be very honestly, I'm not following that kind of a thing. But I heard that somewhere there was a kind of an invitation from the Ministry of Jal Shakti for the startup kind of a thing, where you can put up your innovative ideas and can request for the funding from the government agencies. That is something I would like to put it to the Narendra Singh Ji. To be very honestly, I'm not sure about that, if there is a kind of a the funding kind of available over there is this. And another thing I would like to mention over there is that IIT generally, they have a kind of this program where they hire the people, some bachelor student, master or PhD student. So some kind of an incubation thing they provide. They hire the students for some 18 months, say, and so. And if you have a very, very innovative idea, so I suggest, Narendra Ji, you just look into the IIT's website, be it IIT Delhi or something like that. And they have some kind of an incubation thing. So you just have to present to your idea, and you just have to tell them that this is your idea. And if IIT system find it very, very innovative, they would take you up, will help you to develop that particular technology also. Then they will help you in scaling up that technology also, and then will let you to find your probable I would say that people who can buy that particular technology also. So yeah, that is also another option, Narendra Ji, you can explore. So these are the kind of questions that were put it up. So no more question has been there. So I am just continuing with this thing. So this filtrate system, you can see over there is that after this filtrate beds, the water is going to be treated, and this final chamber is going to be a reusable water thing. And the picture of this filtrate bed is being presented in this slide itself. You can see this nearby thing is the this sedimentation zone, sedimentation chamber. So left picture, you can see sedimentation tank. Same tank is over there. Even you can see some sort of baffles also here. And these baffles, the same baffles which I was advocating you. And after this sedimentation zone, the water is going to be flow inside this phytoid bed. So you can see some sort of growth of Canna indica in this particular picture. So with the help, I will show you more pictures of this. So now you must be wondering that what kind of different plant species we can use for the purpose of putting it up. So here's a list of some of the plant species which we advocate. In fact, we have used them in the different phytorid system or something like that. And these are Typha, bird of paradise, cypress grass, Canna indica. So these are the botanical names that have been put it over here. So we very nicely use this Canna indica. I think most of our places, they have this Canna indica and cypress grass that we are using over here. So these are the wetland species plants that we are using. Now, let us talk about where you have used this particular phytorid technology and how you have used this particular phytorid technology for the purpose of rejuvenation of this water body. So this is a kind of a project. At the beginning of my presentation, I mentioned that we are working in this 29 water bodies project. And in this 29 water body project, the irrigation and flood control have asked us to rejuvenate the water body. So I showed you this particular water body of Hamidpur in this slide also at the beginning of my this. So how we are proposing this rejuvenation thing, that is something I'm gonna show you. So this is our site, which the water body is there. This particular water body is in the vicinity of a temple over here, and this proper boundary wall is there. And you can see in the pictures that there is some sort of free space available. So now I am going to tell you with the help of phytorid technology, how you're going to rejuvenate this particular water body, which is there inside this premises of this temple. So what CSIR NEERI has done. So first of all, we saw the physical location of this Hamidpur water body. So from the Google map, you can see that these are the boundaries of this particular water body. There's a temple, and the whole this particular area is the area of the water body. And in the vicinity of that, some walkway is there. And also behind the temple, some space is available. Okay. So we did the survey of this particular Hamidpur water body, because when we need to propose a rejuvenation plan for a particular site, you carry out the survey. During the survey, you see that what is the lat long, where it is located, and what kind of area is available. So we just see that what is the wet area of the water body, what is the dry area in the vicinity of the water body, what kind of a general description, what is the way in this water body is being used by this villager. During the survey, we found that many places in the rural area of Delhi, I would say that villagers are very happily taking their cattle to the water body for taking bath. So when government of Delhi say that you want to rejuvenate, so they put a lot of money into that, and then you say that villager will bring their cattle into it for the purpose of bathing, so whole of money is going to be get wasted. So when we do the survey, we found a kind of a contradictory things, that on one way we are saying that okay, you rejuvenate the water body. On the second way, when you rejuvenate a water body, develop it in a form of a kind of a public place as a kind of a recreational area, then the villagers will not be able to take up their cattle, because ultimately the resources are for the public itself. The government is also working for the public itself. So it's a kind of sometimes become very difficult situation for the government agencies also, that in the name of doing something good for the public, and they are just stopping public from doing something which they were historically doing at that particular site. So all these kind of attributes, you see that if the boundary wall is there around the water body, what kind of construction has been taken up. So why you gather up all this activity? For example, you're going to construct a small phytorid bed, which is going to be a beautiful botanical garden. If there is no space available, you need to have a kind of another option. So you can easily either put a kind of a phytorid technologies STP over there, or you can also do some kind of a drain. So in the last picture where I was showing, there is a drain flowing inside this particular water body. So if there is no space available for the construction of a phytoid technology-based STP, kind of technological intervention in the flowing drain itself. So that is something you need to see when you conduct the survey of this particular area. So another question.
We have one question, sir.
Yes, Mr. Karmaji asking, is there any plans and policies and pipelines to collaborate the said program or reach out your program in the neighboring countries? To be very honestly, approached by any neighboring country.
Mr. Sharma is from Bhutan, sir.
Okay. I really welcome this question, but we have not received any request from any SAARC country, I would put it up. But if any honorable government is willing to do that, we will be very, very happy. There are no restrictions for us to go international. So, Mr. Karmaji, if there is a kind of interest into the Bhutanese government, we will be very, very happy to have a collaboration with them and can provide the technological know-how to them. That is something I would put it up. I hope I have answered your question. All right. So I will be moving further. So that is something, the Google map is there. Then we have carried out the survey of this. So we just gather all the bits and bits, with what are different kind of things are there. We also do the water quality analysis of that particular the water body, because we need to see that whether the grey water is coming over there or some sort of industrial wastewater is coming to that particular area. If industrial wastewater is coming to that particular area, we just inform to the local authorities that some unrecognized industries are going on over there, which are not having a effluent treatment plant over there. So that's the kind of a check also. We do not penalize the people over there, but just let them follow the SOP. That if you have a polluting industry, you need to have an effluent treatment plant. And depending upon the guidelines that have been issued to a particular industry, you need to put up or that kind of effluent treatment plant. So we do all these kind of water quality analysis of that particular water body. Okay. After that, we carry out the topographic survey of that particular water body, and we try to see that what are different characteristics of physical characteristic of that particular area. So this is some kind of a contour map. It also let you know that what is the depth of that particular water body. Many a times, agencies request us that you need to increase the depth of that particular water body. So once we carry out the survey of that particular water body, we come to know that whether it's 2 meter, 3 meter, if agency want that this particular water body may be made a little more deeper, let's say 5 meters, 6 meter, then you need to put up or to propose to this kind of a deepening of this particular water body. Some dredging you need to propose that. So that's why you need to carry out the topographic survey of that particular water body over there. So we saw in this particular slide over here that there is some small area available for the construction of this phytoid technology pad. So we just saw that how much quantity of wastewater also flowing into this particular pond. So based upon that, we found that a 150 kiloliter per day capacity phytoid technology based sewage treatment plant would be very much sufficient for this particular site. So we just designed that particular phytoid bed. You can see over there, you have a screen, the same characteristic features which I was telling you. You need to have a sump well, you need to have a sedimentation tank, and then you need to have a phytoid technology based STP. And then the treated water from this particular sewage treatment plant will ultimately be discharged into this particular water body. So in place of dirty water or untreated water is being discharged into this particular pond, we are diverting that untreated grey water through the phytoid technology based sewage treatment plant, and after treatment that water will flow into this particular pond. So the complaint of the local citizen who were coming to the temple for the purpose of worshipping, this particular pond is stinking, would be eradicated slowly when the clean water would be discharged in this particular water body. Now the next task is going to be how you're going to fit this particular STP into the vicinity of that particular water body. So now when I say that screen, you can see the picture of this screen, and these all pictures have been taken from our 3 MLD phytorate technology based sewage treatment plant at the Shahadra Lake. This particular Shahadra Lake is in the East Delhi Municipal Corporation. This particular plant is working very, very efficiently. And if somebody is interested to see that how a particular phytorate technology based STP looks like, they are very, very welcome to visit this particular STP. This Shahadra Lake is near the Welcome metro station. So if you are familiar with the Delhi, you know that there is a metro system. And if you want to reach to this particular Shahadra Lake site, you need to travel up to the Welcome metro station and ask anybody about this Shahadra Lake and go there. It's open to the public. You can go over there and see by yourself how a particular STP, it's not a STP, I would say it's a botanical garden, and it's ultimately treating water. Okay, so this bottom picture is a sewage sump. Okay, then you have this sedimentation tank, then you have this phytorate bed, and you can see the 2 beakers. On the right, the black beaker is of untreated water, and left, the clean beaker is of the treated. That is the quality of water which we are getting from this phytorate technology based sewage treatment plant. Okay, so now you can see in the next picture how we have fitted this STP without compromising to the temple, without compromising to the surface area of that particular water body. So all that STP has been very, very nicely fitted into this. So I would say that it's not an STP. Close to 65% of this construction is going to have plants. So it's going to improve the aesthetical beauty of this. It's not a STP, it's a kind of a park area which you're gonna develop in the vicinity of that particular water body over there. All right, so this is the water body on left-hand side. Right-hand side, this is the landscaping or development plan of Hamidpur water body. This red color area, these red lines, this is the STP which we are proposing in the vicinity of this particular water body. All right. So now let us talk about this Shahadra Lake project, the same project which I was talking to you just a few minutes ago. Over here, and this particular Google map picture is of the Shahadra Jheel site. You can see over here, this particular Jheel site is totally encroached by road or the residential area. So whenever we say that there has to be a catchment area of the lake, you can see that there is no catchment area left in this particular lake. So how are we going to propose the rejuvenation of this? When I say the rejuvenation of the lake, you need to make it available that that particular lake need to have a continued water supply. Because if the bottom of that particular lake is totally porous, how much water you're going to put over there is that water is ultimately going to get percolate down. Okay. So when I say that CSIR NEERI is doing the rejuvenation of this particular lake, I would say that CSIR NEERI is making a plan in which the clean water would be made available for this particular lake. Once the clean water has been made available for this particular lake, then you develop that particular lake area as a kind of a recreational area. And where people can come over here is that and sit over there, relax, and see the beauty of that particular lake area. And when people are using or coming to that particular place, the urban local body or the municipal corporation of that particular area can put some sort of small fee also, so that some sort of money can also be collected for the upkeep of this particular plant. So if you carefully look into this Shahadra Lake site, you would see that in the right side, just adjacent to road number 60, some sort of construction you can see. So this black color thing which you are seeing just next to the word 60, road number 60, is the sedimentation tank that I was showing you in the previous picture. And the next 4 rectangular kind of a structure, as you can see from the Google map, they are the phytorate bed. Okay, so somewhere in this adjacent to RD, road number 60, there is a kind of a sewage sump. You are lifting the grey water coming from the Shahadra area. This is a 3 MLD capacity plant. You put it through this sedimentation tank and then through the filtered technology system. And then that particular water, after treatment, this particular water shall be discharged in the Jheel area. That is something we are going to propose. So in the first phase, CSIR NEERI was supposed to construct a 3 million liter per day capacity filtered technology based sewage treatment plant at the lakeside. Okay. So this is the landscaping plan that CSIR NEERI has proposed. And this particular landscaping plan is a kind of a very good mix of built and the non-built structure. Whenever somebody is proposing a landscaping plan, you should not construct everything in the vicinity of that particular area. We are saying that the catchment area has been encroached. And if the agency associated with rejuvenation of that particular lake is also going to construct or concretize that particular area, it's of no use. So this particular lake area, the 14-acre area is going to be devoted for this water body, and 16-acre area is going to be get developed in the form of some recreational area, food courts, some kind of playgrounds, etc. are being constructed over there. So we would say that this lake is going to have two zones. First one is an ecological zone and second one is a community zone. The ecological zone shall have lake and the community zone shall have eating zone, play area, parking zone, etc. So that is something, the rejuvenation plan which we are proposing over here. So if I can show you, this particular thing is the area of the filtered technology based sewage treatment plant. The treated water is going to come over here. This particular area is the collection tank. Then after that, this treated water will flow in the form of a moat. It's a kind of a channel where we will be putting stones and water will be trickling through that particular moat. And then from this particular moat, this moat will discharge the treated water inside this particular lake also. Some small amount of water is also being lifted into this kind of a moon pond. It looks like when you take a drone and take a picture from the sky, you would see this particular thing as a kind of a moon crescent. It's going to be look very, very incredible, impressive once this particular rejuvenation plan, landscaping plan, as proposed by CSIR NEERI, is going to get implemented. By the way, for the kind information of the audiences, I would say that the construction work is already underway at this particular lakeside. Just unfortunately, because of this lockdown, because of coronavirus pandemic, the work was supposed to be halted because everything was stopped as mandated by the central government of India. So very, very proudly, these pictures put me in great joy when Honorable Jal Shakti Minister Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat ji came personally for the inauguration of this Shahadra Lake Rejuvenation Plan on 23rd of July last year. A very, very proud moment for CSIR NEERI and also for the East Delhi Municipal Corporation. That Honorable Minister took up time for doing the inauguration of the construction work at the lakeside. So something, the proud pictures for CSIR fraternity. And another beautiful project that we have recently uptaken last year at in association with the Delhi Tourism. And some another question has been asked by Mr. Anuj Thaplialji. A great way of presentation, sir. I just want to ask, is wastewater from tannery, sugar and dairy industry can come under grey water, and how eradication of toxic microbes take place? Okay. Well, I would say that grey water is not the water coming from tannery, sugar and the dairy industry. These tannery, sugar and dairy industry have a very, very high BOD and the COD also. And this is going to be a industrial wastewater. It is not a grey water. Grey water, I would like to say over there, water coming from the residential area, from the homes, etc. So at the beginning of lecture, when I was saying that from the residential area, the water from kitchen, from the bathing area, which is flowing inside this the drains, and that is something which we are talking about. And the tannery, sugar, and dairy, you need to have a dedicated water treatment plant for them, common effluent treatment plant for them. That is something where you're going to remove all these kind of toxins over there. The second part of your question is how eradication of toxic microbes take place. I'm not sure that by toxic microbes, what you would like to make, Anuj. Toxic microbes, I think you can put it up once again. So toxic microbes, I need to know that by when you say, Anuj, that toxic microbes, what you mean by toxic microbes. Okay, so I'm just continuing. You just put it up for what you mean by this toxic microbe, then I can answer that particular question. Okay, Anuj, so this tannery, sugar, you need to have a kind of a dedicated system. You cannot consider this water in the grey water category. All right. So this rejuvenation of this nanny lake, we have advocated this phytorid bed. So 32 number of this, floating rafter that have been advocated. And Honorable Minister for Health, Science and Technology, Dr. Harshvardhan ji came to this particular nanny lake site. This nanny lake is not a lake of Nainital. The nanny lake is also one lake there in the model town area of National Capital Region. So this is the constituency of Minister Sir Harshvardhan ji. So they asked us to put this technological intervention over there. So very, very humbly and politely we did that at the instruction of Minister Sir. So we are very, very proud for this technological intervention also. So as a concluding remark, so I would like to say over here is that our water bodies are vanishing fast due to dumping of solid waste, encroachment, and catchment area destruction. So that is a kind of a very, very sensitive statement. I would say that it's a high time, just like the Delhi government, they have geotagged their water body. So they have put it up that this particular Latlong is going to be associated with the water body, and in no way anybody can encroach it or convert that particular water body area for the purpose of some sort of construction or converting it into a kind of a park. No, a water body has to be a water body. And if at a particular site a water body exists, you need to make sure the clean water flows to that particular water body. And also, along with the clean water, you have to make it sure that the people living in vicinity of that particular water body are sensitized. They should not put waste inside that particular water body. Water body is not a dumping ground. Water body plays many, many roles by recharging groundwater or as a mitigation of urban heat island, as a kind of a place for local flora and fauna to flourish. So you have to see the water body as a kind of that particular purpose. Okay, so that is something you have to make it sure. So you just have to see that if there is another question. Mr. Mohanji has asked that useful exercise solution should be extended to all over the country. For the kind information of Mohanji, we are already in talks with lots of municipal corporation. And for the kind information of my other audiences, we have constructed close to 300 phytorid technology-based sewage treatment plants all over India and many more on the pipeline also. We are also in talks with many this urban local bodies or municipal corporations for the implementation of this renew system. So we are already in talks with all the agencies for the implementation of these kind of technological intervention. So that is the answer for Mohanji. And Anuji has again said, by toxic microbes, I mean microorganisms present in water bodies cause contamination. Yes, Anuji. When we are saying that we want to treat the water, this is a very good question, Anuji. Even if when we are saying that water is flowing inside this brand new system, the Nala system where I am saying that. So after all the technological intervention that you are there, you can make a kind of a chamber over there where you can do some kind of a disinfection. Or if you have a large amount of money, you can lift that particular water. You can provide a sophisticated disinfection system, just like a ultraviolet UV radiation. The Shahadra Jheel project, which I was just discussing with you, I was showing a different pictures to you. There we have proposed the UV radiation for the purpose of killing of microorganisms, either from the RENU system, even after the treatment from the STP system, you need to propose some sort of disinfection. So, but over here, Anuji, I would like to emphasize over there is that when you put some sort of disinfection system, you would like to make sure that you want to use that particular water for something like more sophisticated manner. Generally, whenever a water is available after treatment from STP or from, let's say, RENU system, you are going to put it for the horticulture purpose. So sometimes the agencies say that why to put up lots of money, investment, or eradicating or doing the disinfection or killing the toxic microorganism, which Anuji is talking about. So it depends upon the agency. If they want, disinfection can be proposed to kill the microbes. If monies are constrained, sometimes people say that, okay, refrain from doing the disinfection. That is something, Anuji, I would like to answer to you. And Mohanji has asked another question. Can local welfare association initiate request? Of course, Mohanji, the urban local bodies can initiate request. I can tell you the modus operandi here in Delhi. In the Delhi, we have a Delhi Parks and Garden Society, DPGS. The urban local bodies are approaching to that particular nodal agency. They would be telling them that they need to construct a particular capacity of phytotechnology-based STP over there. And we would be executing, because if everybody start to approach CSIR NEERI, we will not be able to address to the great amount of demand coming from all the urban local bodies. So I would say that it's always good that CSIR NEERI be in touch with some kind of a, let's say from Uttarakhand, one nodal agency is there, they are in our touch, and all the requests from Uttarakhand are being diverted to that nodal agency. That nodal agency is approaching CSIR NEERI, and in that manner, Mohanji, that kind of work can be executed. Another question is being asked by Mr. Chaurasia. Mr. Shadesh Kumar Chaurasia ji is asking, so what techniques we can use to detect the heavy metals in a sample of water body others than AAS? Well, we at CSIR NEERI, we have, I forgot the name of that particular system. So that kind of system is there. It's not coming into my mind. So atomic adsorption, there are other systems also, chromatograph. It will come to my mind. I will answer you, Mr. Chaurasia. So you need to take the sample, digest it. You need to just put that particular water sample into this that instrument, and that just let you know the this heavy metal ion concentration. It will come to my mind. I just have to put it up into this system. So that is the answer for Mr. Chaurasia ji. And coming to this another conclusion. So this properly developed water body can generate revenue for the local body. So this revenue generation model is also, that is something which is very much essential. Many a times it has been seen that agencies like CSIR NEERI, we propose some sort of rejuvenation plan or we construct something. But after some time, because of the shortage of the fund, it may be possible that agency may not be able to run that particular technology. So we need to have a kind of a revenue model. In the revenue model, what is going to happen is that when a particular person is going to come to that particular developed water body site, they need to pay some, let's say 50 rupees or 100 rupees to the urban local water body, which is maintaining over there. So I think it has a right time for all the urban local bodies or municipal corporations to put it up this revenue model for this generation. And because otherwise you develop the things and those things are not going to come up or would not be able to sustain. So water bodies management ensure generation of employment. So as I said that even if you're going to have a kind of a renew system, that renew system, you can employ the unskilled labor because you need to cut up the incessant growth of wetland species plant. You need to remove the silt, etc. from that particular thing. So because nowadays everybody is talking about you need to have that kind of system where employment generation also happens that. So I would say that this water body management work also going to generate some kind of unskilled employment also. So it's a very, very high time for us to identify and preserve our this water body by using these kind of green technologies, be it renew system, be it phyto technology based STP system, or our floating rafter system. Some of the projects that we have demonstrated, I have shown to you. If you have more queries or if you want to approach CSIR NEERI, I am going to share with you my email ID, which is raman.sharma@neeri.res.in. Please feel free to drop a query regarding this. We would be very, very happy to discuss with you about these technologies and how we can transfer or design a suitable system for you people. So here I stop. I hope it is something like 2:37. Time is almost there. I would be very, very happy if my audiences have more questions for me.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. So it was actually a very, I must say, like very detailed and oriented presentation more toward like grey water, and as well as how basically we can save environment and how we can use that as an alternate option. So we received many questions throughout the session, and perhaps you have answered all of them by yourself. Normally, I normally we used to have this question like I used to interrupt the speaker. But thank you, like you already have taken all the questions. Thank you so much, sir.
You're
So
very
we will wait
welcome.
for we'll wait for 1 or 2 more minutes to take some more questions, and then I hand over the session to my moderator. So if anybody is having any questions, please you can ask, and we can we'll try to respond to you as much as possible. Okay, we have questions from Mohan sir. It's on the screen, sir.
Okay, let me open my YouTube.
It's also on the screen, sir. You can directly see it over there.
Does this part of smart city? Yes. All these things are happening in this smart city thing. We are in touch with Bareilly Smart City. We are in touch with Raipur Smart City. Raipur Smart City, in fact, is thinking of giving us something like 14 water bodies. So that is something we are in touch with these smart city people also. But you know that projects take some sort of some respectable time to come up. So that is something we are in touch with this smart city mission also, sir. Yes, Mohanji has also asked, could you please highlight on maintenance efforts required? So I hope the maintenance is something that you're going to talk about, how you maintain the renew and the filter system. And the first very important maintenance system that you need to ensure is the removal of silt. When I say a properly constructed STP system, then the sedimentation zone, be it in the renew system or in the filter system, a great amount of silt comes. That is the first thing that you need to remove from that particular system. And another thing, in the constructed wetland or a phytoric technology based STP, you need to take a good care of the plants. Whenever in the very hot summer, in the June and July, when monsoon is not there, and also some respectable quantity of water is coming, because of the heat stroke, sometimes plants die. So you just have to see that plants should not die, and if some plants are already dying, you just have to remove those plants and put up new species over there. So these kind of a small maintenance thing that you need to carry forward. So when I say that green technologies, they are very, very easy for the unskilled people also to maintain. That is something the answer for you, sir. Any other question, please?
We have, sir, a complimentary word for you by Mr. Anuj.
Thank you so much, Anujji. You asked very, very good questions. I also enjoyed.
We have like a wonderful session, sir. So before I conclude, I request Miss Renu to put the concluding remark. She's from like Tech Counselor team. So handing over the session to you, Miss Renu.
Sure.
Thank you, Mukesh. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
ma'am.
Please, Renu.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sharma, for your words and valuable time. It was really wonderful and insightful presentation focused on research and startups on the topic opportunities for sustainable green tech startup. Of course, grey water poses one of the highest value and become replacement as secondary water uses. If treated properly, it could be of great use. Also happy to know that CSIR NEERI is working as more than 100 plus water treatment projects. So we are very certain that this live session, which is the part of first international training and internship program, focused on opportunities for R&D ecosystem and tech-driven startup, will surely be helpful to our participants in their entrepreneur journey. I must say that you have explained it in a simple and interesting way, also motivated and inspired lots of people today. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. I also would like to thank Tulas and Mukesh. Thank you very much for making me part of this. I forgot. I think one guy asked some question about heavy metals. Yes, yes.
Also,
The
also
estimate
what?
which we are using at CSI NEERI is ICP. Yes, that came to my mind. I'm really sorry about. I forgot.
Okay,
So I
okay, I'll
forgot
just check that
the
question.
person. That is the ICP-MS which we are using at CSI NEERI for the detection of heavy metals. So that is something which we, yes, yes, yes. Heavy metal ICP that we are using, Mr. Churasia ji. I hope I have answered your question. All right. So at the end, I would like to thank you for Tula Institute, Mukesh ji, and it was indeed very, very interactive for me and all the young brigade. My senior colleague also asked me question, and at the end, if you feel that this kind of green technology can be any help to the urban local bodies, be it nationally or be it internationally, feel free to approach us, and we would be very, very happy to provide you a tailor-made solution for these kind of technologies. And at the end, I say thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
So, Dr. Samuel, can we end the session? Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll end the session from here. And again, thank you once again.
Jai Hind. Thanks.
Jai Hind, sir. Dr. Samuel, sir, you there? So for tomorrow, we will have Naveen Kumar sir with us. He's working as senior engineer at France, and his session will be on communication for smart home automation and smart tech-enabled devices. He'll be live at again 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. On India time, and at 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Based on France time. So we hope to have you again to my all audience again live at the same time. So thank you once again.